All right, here we go. This is the Monday Sports Podcast. A lot of sport to wrap up from the weekend that was and looking to the week that is.
A lot.
Get Mitchell in here at some point, Lockie.
Yeah, Mitch, and why don't we start with a bit of the AFL? Well, we've got Nick in here. Nick's got his big... Mate, is it third grade or fourth grade grand final on this
Fourth
week?
grade grand final.
Fourth grade.
Hoping to go up to third grade next year.
Yeah, but it's fourth grade grand final this...
This Friday night.
If you win, do you automatic...
Yeah, promoted.
Yeah, and so if you don't win, you don't get promoted.
No, we just stay.
What?
We stay down and the winning team goes up.
So there's not two teams?
No, just one. The last team from Div 3 will be relegated.
Ah.
Who was that?
Oh, I don't know who that is. I think
But they come down to fourth
they'll
grade
come
now.
down to fourth, yeah.
And you move up.
We'll move up, yeah.
Does this happen across all sports or what?
Oh, I mean, I think every code does it differently, but I think look, we've got there's so many teams popping up in this Friday night competition because so many people over the years have just worked out, geez, it's pretty good to have your weekends back. So you go play, all out proper football on Friday night. Then you go instead of spending the whole day down at the club watching seniors and reserves. So it's like it's not hidden giggle. It's 100% like local footy.
No, it looks like
used to love
legit. Or what I see on your feed.
Oh, 100%.
You got massage therapists and stuff, don't you?
We got one physio who works overtime, but it's helpful, and that's the thing. When you play the over 30 card, it means you can start getting to I need this first, young fella.
Yeah.
Is it an over 30s league?
No, we've got blokes from 18 through to 40, 45. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were playing over 30s.
No.
And is your team... See, I thought that... I knew it was fourth division. I wasn't sure if it was third or fourth, but I figured, like, say if it's fourth division, that you were the fourth best team in your club. Or are you the top team in your club?
No, I guess we're the thirds team in our club. So essentially, with the way we've broken it down, is some clubs go 1, 2, 3. We got a Saturday program. They play in the Div 1 Cup. So the seniors reserves, just exactly what you're thinking, traditional footy.
Yeah.
And then we're, I guess, a bit of a sort of separate, same club, everything, but just we act as a separate entity and play a Friday night. So development for young fellas and for old guys who don't want to give up their full Saturdays, come and play Friday nights. Yeah.
Could you have two teams from the same club in the same div?
Cooperoo are doing that over
bloody Cooperoo.
Yeah. No, they're a good program. They're our main rivals. They are doing that in Div 3 and 4.
Full respect. Cooperoo. Don't want to say anything to upset them on grand final week.
Is that who you're playing?
No, fortunately not. Fortunately not.
And where do we start with? Should we switch gears or
let's go to league for a bit.
Talk a bit of league. Who are you going for now, Mitch? I'm going to the NRL grand final this year.
Are you?
Yep.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yep.
I'm thinking about it.
So I'm trying to work out what my dream matchup would be now that my team, is definitely not going to be a part of it.
Well, because Kid Leroy's doing
That's what Buzz is there.
Legit. Like I'm because I was always.
Man, but Buzz, if the Roosters make the grand
I know.
final and you've got Kid Leroy, you have to go.
I'm definitely going. If the Chooks make it, I'm definitely going. But I'm tossing up whether I want to go. I've been to a few grand finals before, so it's not like a bucket list, because I've got a mate of mine who lives in Sydney who's a South supporter who's never been to a game before, and he's like itching to go. Whereas I'm like, it's a lot of money if my team's not in it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for the experience, more for my kids.
Yeah.
Too. But every grand final I've ever been to that I haven't had a team involved, I've always enjoyed. Like I was there.
You won a car, mate.
I was there. Well, I won a car in '95. That was Canterbury and Manly. That was at the old footy stadium. I was there in '88, Canterbury and Balmain. I was there in 1999 when Melbourne stormed
the Stadium Australia
against St George Illawarra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
penalty try, 120,000, yeah.
Jamie Ainscough penalty try. Nathan Blacklock scored that unbelievable try.
Yep.
Yeah, I was there for
That
that.
would've been
I
incredible.
actually interviewed Brett Camorley after the game. I'm pretty sure Brett Camorley had just won the Clive Churchill. I'm sure that he had. But so it doesn't matter.
Good run of grand
I
finals.
went to Parramatta and Newcastle in 2000 and whenever that was. 2001. Yeah.
I was at the 2008 grand final where Manly belted the Storm 40-0.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beaver Menzies
right
last
at the
game,
end,
right at the end. Yeah.
Was that Menzies last
Yeah,
game?
yeah, scored
2008.
He scored
in like the 72nd
on the
minute
left
or something,
side.
yeah.
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 That's the loudest stadium I've been to, I reckon, in
right.
that moment when Beaver scored. Was that already?
Rocky.
No, the 2008 grand final when they scored right at the end to make it 40-0.
But also to smash the Storm's sort of run of dominance of that period of time as well.
I think they won again the next year, didn't they?
They did, yeah, but it just broke it up so nicely.
That was good.
So, Ash, what's good for footy here? If you could pick a premier right now, what does Rugby League want as a premier?
Oh, what does the game
Yeah,
want?
what's good for the game right now? Is it a Penrith 4-peat?
I have my thought. I'm saying I'm saying that Penrith are they even the top line of betting?
I think
yeah,
Storm
they
are.
second. It's
Yeah.
Second.
I had a look this morning. Melbourne was at like $2.50, and then Penrith was second line at like $3 or something like that.
I think that,
$2.50 and $3.
I think they're under the odds, like they're underestimated. I think we're getting caught up in the fact that no one can win 4 premierships in a row. If you take that out of the picture, I think Penrith are just going to get it done.
They've still got Cleary to come back.
Cleary
weather.
coming back. Like, I just think they get it done.
I like the potential poetry of it in the sense that if they make it, it'll be Penrith's 5th grand final in a row.
Yeah,
They've
That's
won.
amazing.
They've won 3, and the first one they made of this run was against the Storm, who beat them. So the Storm stopped them from their winning run.
Yeah.
And Storm are in a good chance to potentially get there on grand final day and end their run.
Like-
it's sort of their run will be bookended by Melbourne Storm.
That's true.
Like this is like,
Defeats.
if they do that, by the way, that becomes like Parramatta / Dragons dynasty territory from the 1970s.
Yeah.
They're already
60s,
pretty close to
60s.
that as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because it's a salary cap era.
It's never been done in a
you-
professional
you
era.
think
What
about-
they're doing, they're creating history.
Well, the amount of players that they've lost in the
Oh.
past 4 years, you could almost take those players, put them in a team by themselves, and it's a premiership winning roster.
They've lost Burton, Crichton, Kickow,
Coruscant.
Who else have they lost?
Kurt Capewell was there for a bit.
Kurt Capewell, Jermaine Hopgood,
Yep.
um,
Paul Momirovski.
the Mom. But they're big names.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're established. Like Steve Crichton. Like it's huge name. And then this year they're going to lose Luai.
Yep.
They're going to lose the Fish.
They lose a winger. Who was the winger they lost? Where'd Taruva come in?
Taruva.
Yeah, but he's leaving. But before him, who was playing? Because they've lost obviously Taylor May for other reasons. He was a decent
Taylor
player.
May's another one. Yeah, he's gone as well. They just have a way of just being able to just
Fisher Harris this year's going.
Yeah.
Luai's going.
Yep.
Yeah. God, if they can do it next year.
But I think the performance of Craig Bellamy is underappreciated too.
Agreed.
I agree with that as well. I think I've had this conversation with you, Ash.
Craig-
They're if you look at them on paper, at least
Yeah.
at the beginning of this year, you'd have no idea who half of them were, I reckon.
And if they were coached by anybody other than Craig Bellamy, you'd be like Bellamy gives you confidence. Like,
Expectations.
He's
You
just
sort of-
one of those players that you just coaches rather that as a player. Not that I would have any idea, but I can imagine that it just seems like if you're going to training and your coach is either Benji Marshall, great player, or Craig Bellamy, where do you instantly? I just think, oh, if you go to Bellamy, I'm going to be working so bloody hard.
Yeah.
Like I just do not want to let that bloke down. He knows what he's doing. He has standards that have to be met, and if they're not met, you're out the door.
Yeah.
And he'll get somebody else to come in. Like he's got a record or something of this year that the players that have played like 20 or more games for Melbourne this year, they're all the no-names. Trent Liero, like just people that are not the superstars.
Howarth.
Yes, Jake Howarth.
Yeah.
Like Jake Howarth was a second rower, and now he's doing a great job in the centres.
Doing really well.
For Melbourne.
Nick Meaney.
Nick
Who's
Meaney.
Nick Meaney? Did you see, speaking of
Look
Nick
what
Meaney,
he's done with Nick Meaney.
I know. Did you see, it was against the Broncos, I think Storm were up like 40-6 or something like that, and Nick Meaney blew a try, and then it panned to Bellamy.
Yes.
Yes.
And Bellamy's
And they're leading-
blowing up.
Yes.
Like proper
Really?
blowing up. Yeah, or like you wouldn't
see
believe.
that.
You effing idiot, what are you bloody doing?
Is that right?
That's what I was saying to you, Mitch, before that game, that this is week 1 of Bellamy's finals campaign right now. He's given the players the rest, so I reckon he said to all of them, hey, guys, finals start right now against the Broncos.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his
because
whole,
they
and his whole,
rested against the-
that wasn't a rest game, a warm-up. That
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
you get everything right now.
Because what happened to them last year? Last year, final game, they took the foot off the pedal, and they played the Broncos, and they had like all those people that were out. Hey,
Yep.
did Brisbane win that? I can't remember who won.
No,
that.
I don't.
No, they lost.
We lost that one, but we came back because we were going to play them. We pretty
That's
much
right,
it was
we
a
played them
guarantee.
the next week,
and we actually kept
Yes.
them to 0 in
Yeah.
the first
That's-
week of the finals.
And
Yeah,
so I reckon that backfired when he went, no, I want to go into finals this year with a solid victory under our belt and also momentum. Because, like, you look at the Cowboys, for example. The Cowboys go into week 1 of the finals on the back of their performance against the Doggies. Two very different. Who'd they play? The Cowboys on the weekend?
yeah, dogs. Yeah,
So
44-6.
on the back of that, Cowboys now go into this week going, we got that victory under us. We got all that momentum.
Yeah,
we just won by 40 on the weekend. The Doggies, on the other hand, had a great year, but all of a sudden it's like we've got to forget about last
And
night.
2 losses in a row for the
Yeah.
Dogs,
Yeah.
I know they're down some troops and a big one as well with Matty Burton, but still, that's not what you want to be taking into it,
Yeah. Like Dolphins put on their best performance. The Dogs put on their worst performance.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
it was, right?
Yeah.
I think Cowboys are a smoky. I know.
Yes, I
I
agree.
still don't necessarily think that. I think it's someone from the top 3, in my opinion, that'll win it. Roosters, I'll still give a chance, but that's probably because I'm a fan. But obviously Penrith and Storm. But I think the Cowboys could mount a pretty good argument to get there. I'd almost be putting money on the fact that they might actually make the grand final.
So,
wow.
so the Cowboys have got to get past Newcastle in Townsville on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Very achievable.
That's their sweet spot.
All right.
Saturday night in Townsville, yeah.
So if they get past Newcastle, which they should, they're then going to be playing the loser of
Storm and Sharks.
the Storm and the Sharks. Now let's just say that the Storm get through that. North Queensland Cronulla,
Yep,
That's what I
they
mean.
can do it.
like that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's pressure on the Sharks.
That's not impossible.
Yeah, no.
They could definitely roll Cronulla,
Yeah.
and then what? I guess they'd have to get past probably Penrith,
Or Sydney.
Penrith or Sydney.
Yeah.
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 But if you win, that's not a bad run in, really, when you think about it. Like for the Cowboys, like that's as you said. I think that they're on the easier side of the draw, so to speak. Like taking on Cronulla in that game, opposed to Sydney Roosters or something.
Or Penrith.
Yeah.
I'd rather be shaking on the Sharks than either
Yeah.
of those two. Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's also it's finals footy too, where like some of these odds, like you've only got 8 teams that are left now, so one of these 8 teams has to win it.
Yeah.
Well, you've got in 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 of those 8 teams are still at double figures to odds wise. Like Cronulla is at 10, North Queensland's at 17, Manly is at 17, the Doggies are at 23, and Newcastle's at 67. And they're in the 8. Like they're there.
Yeah.
They are in the 8. There could be injuries. There could be anything that could happen now.
It's a shame too with the Dogs. Like they've had such a great year coming out of nowhere. Actually, talk about Stephen Crichton. Someone only reminded me of that.
They have had a great year too.
Huge.
It's been
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
There was like a meme that went around a year ago when Crichton left the Panthers, and it said, "Well, there you go, Stephen Crichton retiring from finals football for the rest of his life." And then he just steered the Bulldogs into a mad tear, and a shame that those 2 losses. Otherwise, they would have been 5th. At one stage, they were fighting for a top 8 spot, but top 4 spot. You look at the Origin this year. Queensland win in Sydney, and they're like, "Well, for the Blues to come back and win, they have to do something that they've only ever done, once or twice before." But it was 1994 where Queensland won in game 1, then the Blues had to go to Melbourne.
I was at that game.
The 94 game, right?
94 was the that's
Miracle
not a
try.
try, it's a miracle.
Yep.
Your dad was the coach.
Yep.
I was there.
And so Queensland won that game in Sydney. Then the Blues had to go to Melbourne and win in there, which they did this year, and then had to come to Brisbane and do it. So it was like it mirrored. It was 30 years since that had happened, and then this year they keeps going. The teams you can't win outside the top 4. No one's done it in 29 years. So not in the NRL era has anyone won outside the top 4. And they said, but do you know who the last team that did it? And it was the Bulldogs. And you look at them, they made the grand final in 2014, and they made it in 2004, and they were there in 1994.
Oh.
So like every 10 years. So everyone's like, when they're on that mad run, and the Dogs of War, Belmore's going off, everyone's like, well, this is what we do. If it's got a 4 in there, we're going to make it. Now, they're in a bit of a tough spot.
He's got to play on house money there.
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen against Manly, and they say Turbo's going to be there this weekend, but...
Not 100% though, right? Like, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the Dogs, because I hear, I don't know a whole lot about how it works, but you hear stories of coaches putting extra load in and like the tapering, and before the final series they work them harder so they're fresher. Like 'cause sometimes you might look at that and you go, oh, the Doggies have had 2 losses in a row. Maybe that's what they're doing.
You don't know what work
Exactly.
they're doing as well.
But then you don't know as well if it's just a big... Because like that's the thing. I think I've spoken to Ash about this. They're an effort-based team, right? They've all of their wins and stuff and their successes come from effort plays. It's not the most skillful team on the park. It's like playing for each other, tackling hard, running hard. There's a time where that might just catch up with them.
Yeah.
And it might be now, But wouldn't it be... I mean, obviously I don't want to see them win it, but it'd be good to see them get close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you going for? Cowboys.
No, I don't know. Like
Melbourne.
Maybe, yeah.
Roosters, come on, Mitch.
No, I don't.
Throw me a bone.
It's going to be a dark day before I tell you with 8 teams to go that Roosters are my number one. I was going for the night because I'm just going for like my mates' teams at this point. You know, like
I'm your mate.
Yeah, sure. I've got a longer mate, an older mate.
It's a tough way to find out.
That's a Newcastle fan, and so them getting in. Storm again. Like people kept asking me over the weekend, "Are you okay with what happened Thursday night?" I genuinely felt worse last weekend getting beat. I'd rather get beaten 50-12 by Melbourne, who may go on to win the premiership, than get beaten 38-6 by the Dolphins. Like that hurt last week going to that game. Yeah. Whereas sitting there the other night going, well, yeah, okay.
They're a good team.
We put up a fight for 15 minutes and then it was just like a training run against the Storm the other night. There wasn't even that many cheers from Melbourne fans when they would score tries with that Warbrick scoring his third. Everyone's like, well, yeah, of course, you caught the ball, you should have put it down. You know, like it was so, yeah, maybe. Like I'd love to see a Melbourne Penrith, like just because of like Melbourne are on top at the moment, Penrith are the team to beat as far as defending champs. But the Roosters, from where they've come from and at the position they're in at the moment, losing so many big stars, you know, it'd be good to see them get up there as well.
About to turn your mic off, so.
So just quickly, Buzz, your man Marky Mark.
Yes.
Crossing over.
Nwanga Nitawaze. He looked good, by the way. I don't know if anyone else watched him.
I didn't see it.
He looked really good.
Yeah, he didn't look out of place.
Like I heard from
He
someone.
can play.
Yeah. Well,
watching him in Paris,
yeah.
he was like a standout.
Was he?
I got a mate
in rugby sevens. Yeah.
I got a mate who's a big Roosters fan and goes and watches their New South Wales Cup team and stuff sometimes play. And that was the one report from him that he's like unbelievably safe under the high ball. And he's just like an athlete, like he's just strong.
He benches like 170. I reckon he benches as much as the props bench.
170.
Yeah.
Bloke's a weapon. Absolute weapon.
He's next level. He could be something really special.
And the crazy thing is, he probably won't play this weekend.
He bench presses 170. You don't reckon they're going to use him again? Who have they got coming back?
Dom Young and Tupou.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you got to go with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's where, I don't know where they play him next year either. Like one of those will have to shift into the centres, you'd think.
No, you're wasting him on the wing.
Well, I think he could play the centres.
Who? Nwanga
Nitawaze.
But his name's got wing in it. He's got to stay.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Well, that's the case.
But I'm 130 kilos.
Nominative determinism's back.
It's not Nacentawaze, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys weren't talking at Lions. It was just Nick's AFL, but
I undercovered off a big show, and now
we get to the other one happening Saturday. How do we feel? Because like I didn't think there was an easy answer with Lions winning through. They were going to play the loser of Sydney or GWS.
What a game.
It was neither. It was going to be great, and GWS looked like they were going to run away with it there at one point. And then what was the difference then? Like 5 or 6 points or something? It was
Cal Ward got it up to about a goal and a half, and then the Swans just went bang. Isaac Heaney, who just played one of the great finals games of all time, the Newcastle boy, including that mark, which again, as we spoke about earlier in the show today, the fact that won't be
the mark of the year. That's ridiculous.
Lutsy, have you seen it?
Yeah, I missed it live. I was there. I went to the game, but I saw a replay. Yeah.
But even like the Giants bloke Jack Buckley just holding his arm so he didn't crash down on his head. Like Isaac Heaney's mum like tweeted out going, "Thank you so much for saving my son's life." Like, it's bloody dangerous when you're up there.
That could have actually been a bit scary.
100%. See how like Jeremy Howe last year for the Pies, he broke his arm badly. Because they can go very wrong, but unfortunately that was an awesome game. So GWS, they should have won that. So down at the Sydney Showgrounds when they take on the Lions, the problem is the Lions' best footy is probably the best in the competition. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a gap between their best and their worst. You can see that when the pressure came on them, granted the Q was back in the rack after half time, but all of a sudden the pressure came on. Carlton took away their uncontested ball, and then the goal kicking just
15 behinds, just right there. I think Carlton had 3 behinds, right? So we convert a quarter of those. We score 140 points.
Scoring isn't an issue. It's still scoring straight. But it just gave us a bit of a window that, okay, the goal kicking problems come in when there's pressure. No issue when you're running away, a bit downhill skiing. But
no, it's just pressure. It's like it's head games. I mean, and there's no other excuse for it. Like, what else can you possibly put it down to other than they just keep missing goals?
It's in there
from in front.
I know, like young Logan Morris. He's 19.
I think it's the exact same as putting in goal.
You've got to get Phil Jauncey or someone back in and sort out their brains.
You just got to get on a roll
there, and you can. That hole can feel like it's just like it's so small or big, depending on what your mindset is. You know, but if you're standing up there in front of goal and for whatever reason you start having negative thoughts, I don't know how you stop that. Look at that guy. Look what's going to happen. Psychologist. Yeah, you
got to be. And I look honestly,
but you can't bring a psychologist out there in that moment.
Exactly.
Slide down for a second on this couch here.
Phil Jauncey comes on. You got to have Phil Jauncey in your team every week.
Can you imagine if they brought us on?
Jauncy's in the forward pocket.
We're taking a break for psychology reasons. They bring it out. The whole crowd just going on.
You know, players keep
Look
mouth
into his
guards.
childhood.
In socks, you pull out one of those little sand things with the rakes in your sock, and you just
Yeah. Just tending to a bonsai tree. Yeah. I am enough. I am enough.
A lava lamp.
Yeah. So the finals this weekend is going to be Port Adelaide hosting Hawthorn, who they're just the most exciting team in the competition right now, even if they don't go all the way.
Port Adelaide, Hawthorn, winner to play to sit the Swans.
Winner to play the Swans, yes, at the SCG, who look pretty safe there now.
That's a tough one.
So Port Adelaide,
they're falling
Hawthorn,
apart.
or the Swans will be in the grand final.
Correct.
And who won it? Who came first? Regular season? Who
Regular
topped the
season, the
table?
Swans. They just bolted so early and then just couldn't be caught.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, they need to look at that rule. Like, not that I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but that mark of the year thing.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're going to have
ridiculous.
the whole premise of the sport is to go, okay, we have all of these preliminary rounds so that, but this is our showcase.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's finals football. There is no
Yeah, that's crazy.
more important time to take
Yeah.
the mark of the year. There's no greater stage to kick the goal,
Which
of
only
the year
elevates it.
Yeah.
than on
I'm
the
sure if-
biggest stages.
I'm sure in NFL and NBA, if there's a player of the year and it happens at the Super Bowl, it still counts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It probably it would rate even
Yeah,
higher. Jeremy
yeah, yeah.
Cameron kicked one from the pocket for Geelong on Thursday, Friday night, and again would have probably been goal of the year as well. So our leading goal
Well,
kicker
who
for the
won
year.
goal of the year?
Well, it's voted for it's announcing Brownlow
yeah.
Medal Week,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the
yeah.
week leading up to the grand final. So you're right.
Oh, so they haven't even announced
no,
it
they've just
yet.
got the three
Well, why can't
candidates.
they have it as a
I
bloody-
don't know. It's ridiculous.
You kind of understand from like a Dally M in the NRL, like you'd want that in the regular season, so every player has a chance of making it.
equal chance.
But
Yeah,
a goal like
that's true.
mark
That's-
of the year,
yeah.
it's literally like if the Brownlow was on this Thursday, for example, and the mark happened on the Saturday or the Friday, how hard is it to go? Oh, that's definitely
it's still better. Yeah.
like you can still.
Yeah, it's not a massive integrity
Exactly.
thing
Yeah.
either. It's a fan voted thing in the end. You may as well just
Yeah.
celebrate the best of the best. But God, that was good. God, that was good to watch.
Did Lockie Neal, do you reckon he would have got any points on the weekend?
It doesn't matter.
Maybe investing in him.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like, again, like that,
Done.
it doesn't
No,
count.
Brownlow,
Oh, yeah, it's
you
done.
can't
Doesn't
get
count,
Brownlow.
yeah.
That's done.
Stuff him, I don't
Same
care if he
thing.
plays
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think he can win the Brownlow.
He had a good season.
Had a very good season.
Do you think so, Nick?
Look, Dacos and Cripps will be right up there. I always think there's a slight big bias there in the end. He's probably an outsider, but as we saw last year, he just accumulates votes.
Cripps or Lockie.
Oh, the Lockie.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes, it just depends. Like, Carlton, he's just
Is
slipped in
Dacos
finals.
a bit like that though?
Yeah, and because he's got the name, there's a bit of an aura about him as well. That
Is there two Dacoses?
Yeah,
or
Nick
that-
and Josh. Josh is his older brother.
It's pretty amazing, eh?
Oh, it's incredible.
He's like that.
The dad was incredible.
Peter Dacos.
Yeah,
was
Peter
the- is
Dacos.
the dad. He's
That was
like
the dad, yeah.
Yeah,
he's like
he's turned into a real stage dad
like
now.
John Hopoate. He's a stud. Like it's John Hopoate's ended up. Yeah, the finger. John Hopoate. How many Hopoates has he spawned that have played NRL?
Unstable.
There's like
Like-
1,000 Hopoates.
Like
There's one at Manly at the moment.
They all relate.
William. There's a new one.
Who's the fellow who's done the
Isn't there one at
the
Canberra?
Robbie's
mission?
holding up fingers to say it.
He must have 4 or 5 kids that have played NRL.
Who's the one who's doing the Mormon mission?
Well, that was
Plays for the he
He
was
was
playing for the
he was the
doggies.
OG.
that was Will.
Yeah, it was
wasn't it?
Will.
Will Hopoate.
Yeah, he-
Hello.
And he went.
My
He
name
went.
is
Had
Will
a
Yeah.
And then-
sabbatical.
Yeah.
And then I think there's one playing for Canberra.
Is there? Oh wow. There's definitely one playing for Manly.
One
yeah,
playing for
Manly.
Manly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, hang on. Maybe I'll get Manly and Canberra. But anyway, there's been a lot. There's been a lot. I don't know that. I don't know there'd be too many more that have fathered NRL players than
That we
John
know of.
Hopoate. Like it might even be more than 3. Have you got that there, Mitch?
Trying to look that up.
One of the best NRL studs over the years.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like I mean, I'm sure there's been 3 or 4 of them.
Whilst we're talking, just switch gears to
Burgess,
Dally M.
Burgess brothers. There was 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's our pick for Dally M this year?
Crichton.
I reckon if it's not Jerome Hughes,
Yeah, I'm with
that
you.
there's something wrong with the system.
Yeah.
Because I think he's been, like everyone reckons it's going to come down to either Jerome Hughes or Tedesco.
There's no way to desk. Well,
But just on surface value, like Jerome Hughes has been unbelievable this year. They won the minor premiership
Yeah.
with 4 points. He was the halfback for that. He has done it without Cam Munster.
and the other thing as
He's
well,
done it with Tyrone Wishart. as
Harry
his
Grant
half
hasn't
partner.
played that well either. So, like, you think about people who might take points away. Pappenhausen's been out for a lot of the year.
Yeah.
I think Jerome Hughes as well.
He's been outstanding. And then someone was saying, like, don't
Burton
forget,
would be up there, to be fair, because
he's been injured a bit, hasn't he?
yeah, but
Burton?
anytime Canterbury do anything decent, it's usually off the back of Burton.
Oh yeah, I can't. But did Burton even play Origin this year?
18th man.
Yeah,
I think it's 4, so get back to Hopoate.
Four, yeah.
We knew about Will.
Four kids.
Four, that's
Imagine having
unbelievable.
4 kids. that play.
Jamil
Yeah.
and Lehigh, Hopoate, who's
Lehigh,
at Manly,
yeah, he's at
Lehigh,
Manly.
and Albert, who's at Canberra.
There's
Wow.
one
4.
at Canberra and at Manly at the moment.
It's like the
That's
Genghis
amazing.
Khan of the NRL.